Music, music, and more music. What's up, 23% Nation? Your man, Coach D, is back. And guys, yes, we're talking about the 10 keys to staying motivated for peak performance. Now, as stated before, this entire video series has been inspired by the one and only Delatorro McNeal II. So guys, without any further delay, let's go ahead and dive right on in. All right, so with this video, we're going to talk about key number 2, which happens to be music, music, and more music. That's right, guys. 23% Nation, did you know that music is motivation that can help us reach peak performance? Well, if you didn't know, I can almost guarantee that by the end of this video, you will definitely see how music can serve as a motivating factor. Now, in order to kick things off, guys, Coach D did a little bit of research. Yes, research. Now, of course, this was inspired by Delatorro, but of course, Coach D still had to do his own research. And guys, I came up with a few facts that you will probably find very, very interesting. So here we go. Fact number 1. Scientists have found that listening to particularly happy or sad music changes the way we perceive the world. Interesting. Fact number 2. Studies prove that the music we listen to engages a wide range of neurobiological systems that affect our psychology. Fact number 3. Neuroscientists have found that music enters our nervous system through the auditory brainstem and also causes the cerebellum, which basically is a part of our brain, to lighten up on a brain scan. Wow. Fact number 4. Dr. Nina Kraus states that humans and songbirds are the only creatures that automatically feel the beat of a song. She said the human heart wants to synchronize to music, the legs want to swing metronomically to a beat. Our bodies, Dr. Christ concluded, are made to be moved by music and move to it. Interesting. And our last music fact is music is one of the most powerful neurobiological tools we have to change our mood, mindset, and behavior. Wow. Now, these are some very powerful statements, which basically boils down to the fact that music basically can influence our emotions, our thoughts, our words, and our actions. All right. So now let's talk about the benefits of music, because after all, we are talking about exactly how we can use music to motivate us for peak performance. Here we go. Benefit number 1. You can dial up a mood, mindset, or perception on demand by choosing music that elicits a specific emotional response in you. Now, lots of studies have been conducted using all different types of people. But the one that I came across involved an athlete. An athlete claims, I could use music and my imagination to create a parallel universe that has little to do with reality. Now, I believe, if my memory serves me correctly, that when this athlete was preparing for his competition, that even though the weather was bad, maybe it was raining, maybe it was a little cold, maybe foggy, windy, okay? That regardless of the weather conditions, that he could use music to simply alter his perception of his reality. So even though it wasn't the greatest weather in the world, in his mind, he was still able to practice for peak performance because of the music that he was listening to. So yes, music does have the ability to change our perception of our reality. And the second benefit, Through trial and error, you can find songs that strike a particular emotional chord in you and use this music to create a targeted mindset, right? So, once again, let's go back to another athlete. An athlete claims, I developed an ideal mindset for peak performance and use an arsenal of time-tested songs to fortify this alter ego and invincible state of mind. Wow. So here we have an athlete who's using music in order to activate his ego, which he in turns used to maximize his peak performance. So ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Music is the be-all, end-all. All right. So when it comes to music, here are a few questions that we definitely need to ask ourselves, especially when striving for peak performance. Question number 1. Does this song make me feel like the glass is half empty or half full? Here's another question. Does this song make me feel energized or depressed? Because believe it or not, music does have the ability to make you feel energized or depressed. A third question, what state of mind do I want to be in right now? Now, ultimately, that depends on you, but here's the thing. The whole concept behind this video is to make sure we are in a state of peak performance. So, you probably want to listen to music that is going to uplift you as opposed to depress you. So now I know that me and the rest of the 23% nation are wondering, all right, Coach D, I get it. I got to start listening to music that uplifts me, music that motivates me, music that puts me in an amazingly positive mindset, right? Great. Yes, you should. So now the question is, when should I listen to music? All right. Well, maybe you have a very important job interview that's coming up. You may want to listen to music just before the job interview. Or maybe you're about to do some type of public speaking where you're going to be in front of a very large audience. Or maybe you're a college professor or a teacher, and maybe you're about to give the lecture of a lifetime to your class. Maybe you enjoy working out, similar to Coach D, and maybe you want to burn just a few extra calories, or you want to keep yourself motivated throughout the entire workout, right? Or maybe you're an athlete and you want to maximize your athletic performance. Listen to some good music. Maybe you have a business meeting scheduled, and maybe there are going to be salespeople there, or maybe you're trying to seek funding for a business venture. So perhaps you're meeting with investors, right? So listen to some music that's going to pump you up. Or maybe, just maybe, you're driving to work. And today you don't feel your best, but you know you need to be your best. Why? Because your work is very demanding. So put on that really cool song. And maybe, just maybe, you're about to have sex, okay? And you want the sex to be amazing, of course. So make sure you play the type of music that is going to produce the type of vibe that you want to produce. Okay, so now that we've gone through a whole lot of information about music, I want to give you Coach D's tips, which are very important if you plan to use music for peak performance, right? So here's my first suggestion. Create a YouTube playlist that basically encompasses all the music that you really, really like. Now, here's the thing. When you create your YouTube playlist, you don't necessarily have to stick to one genre of music. You can have hip hop, you can have R&B, you can have rock music, country music, house music, right? Whatever your heart wants, you can have it in your playlist. Also, my next tip, make sure these songs elicit an emotional response. Now, here's what's important. Music does have the ability to change our emotions. So, being that we're striving for peak performance, you probably want to listen to music that is going to allow you to vibrate at a higher emotional frequency, not a low emotional frequency. Tip number 3. Listen sparingly to the music that you really like. Okay? The reason is because music, when it enters your brain through your ears, has the ability to elicit a dopamine response. Now, let's quickly remember that dopamine is one of our 4 feel-good chemicals. That's right. So, if you find yourself listening to your favorite songs over and over and over again, chances are that dopamine response will be less and less and less. So, in order to get that same initial excited, joyous response, listen to your favorite pump-up songs sparingly, not every day. Also, shuffle your music, all right? So if you're going to have different genres of music in your playlist, hip hop, R&B, house, rap, rock and roll, country, right? Put it on shuffle. And again, by shuffling your music, this can also trick your brain into releasing a little more dopamine. Why? Because your brain is guessing. It doesn't know what's going to happen next. Therefore, when you hear your favorite songs shuffled one after another, then that can also help elicit a dopamine response. And of course, as I've stated before, not only do you want to mix your genres, but you also want to mix your beats, right? So maybe you have music that's really fast, or maybe you have music that's really slow, and maybe you have music that's somewhere in between. Well, regardless, you always want to not only mix your genres, but you also want to mix your beats. Therefore, the response, whether it's emotional, psychological, or physical, will also be mixed. Question of the day, question of the day, and question of the day once again. Get ready, 23% Nation. I want to know how, when, and where will you use music to motivate you? Allow me to say that question once again. How, when, and where will you use music to motivate you? Guys, I want to thank you for watching. I definitely want to thank you for listening. As always, eat well, feel well, think well, do well, be well. And never ever forget, Coach D loves you. Take care and God bless.